Rugby in the Pacific continues to go through some critical phases as World Rugby works with the region's rugby nations on mapping pathways and player development plans. Fiji and Tonga are searching for head coaches to lead their respective teams in the build-up to the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia. And both World Rugby and the New Zealand Rugby Union say critical decisions need to be made and steps taken to ensure the game continues to thrive and achieve the highest levels possible. Elias Atora has the story.
Former Flying Fijians captain and coach Simon Raiwalui, now World Rugby's high-performance pathway and player development manager, says while the capabilities of coaches is important, it is critical that coaches selected for island unions understand the culture and the people they will represent.
For me, being from the Pacific Islands, being Fijian, we have very similar cultures, Tonga, Samoa. There has to be a cultural fit. There has to be something that is a connection back to the people. There's a connection back to who we are, what's important to us, our why. Why do we play for Tonga? What's important for us in the red jersey? So I think all those aspects will be looked at when we're looking at a head coach.
Raiwalui says support staff are important as well, adding if unions are going to ask members of the public to invest in teams, then the unions should be investing in the people as well.
The staff that supports that head coach is just as important. There has to be alignment. It's not just the X's on the field, a lot of good coaches. What is important, Tongans, what is important to if we're going to ask the people to invest in the team, we must invest in the people.
Meanwhile, Chris Landrum, New Zealand Rugby's General Manager, Professional Rugby and Performance, says the Zanzibar unions are looking at potentially including the Flying Fijians and Japan in the Rugby Championship.
Yeah, well, we're having discussions currently with our SANZAR partners about the future of the Rugby Championship, and it's certainly true that both Fiji and Japan are potential additions into the tournament at some stage in the future. I think it's really important that both nations are ready, both from a performance perspective as well as a financial perspective, to enter that competition, and that's something that we'll be discussing in the coming weeks.
Chris Landrum says there are also ongoing discussions on merging the Super Rugby W competition in Australia with New Zealand's Super Rugby Aupiki competition.
There's certainly a long-term plan to do that, and women's rugby is exploding in the Pacific. And so there's huge opportunity as we build both the competition, the domestic competition for women's rugby in this region, but also more broadly in terms of international rugby for more and more linkages directly with the Pacifica nations.
Mr. Landrum believes the inclusion of the Penina Pacifica women's team in the Super W competition this year and the Moana Pacifica Under-20 Championship this month are new developments that will continue to boost rugby development growth in the Pacific.